of the district, so I would thank you. But I do want to thank you for wearing your fire boots today. Jim Himes is a great friend, great congressman. Again, I want to thank him for helping us secure this designation with interest rates as low as 2.2% in some cases. So, Jim, please.
And no worries, Rosa and I, as she said, this is one of the few towns in Connecticut that is actually split between two members of Congress in terms of its representation. I'm not sure either of us knows exactly where the line runs, but what that means is that we both feel a great deal of obligation to the entire town of Shelton, and of course we were both horrified when this fire devastated so many lives and ruined so many businesses. So I'm just very, very pleased to stand here with the governor, the lieutenant governor, the mayor, all the elected officials, and of course Rosa, to do really two things. One, to reiterate the thanks to the incredible firefighters who are standing with us here today. And we are reminded on a daily basis of the good work that you do and of the risks that you take. And it may be a fire like this one or like the one today. It may be something to do, unfortunately, all too often with Metro North. It may be the many weather events that you have helped secure the safety and soundness of our people. So thank you very much for what you do. From the SBA will shortly talk about the program that we're here to make sure people know about. There's lots of facts and figures, lots of deadlines, loans available to homeowners, loans available to businesses, all sorts of aid. As the governor said, the SBA has been on the ground in Connecticut an awful lot more than I think we would hope, responding to some very, very difficult weather emergencies. I'm not going to go into the facts and figures. I just want to make the point that the reason we're all here today relates to celebrating the instinct that caused these firefighters to do what they do, which is an instinct that is when, Linda, you're put out of your house, Michelle, when you've got a problem, when liquid lunch is destroyed, whatever it may be, you will not be on your own. Rosa used the word family. You've got representatives of the federal, the state, the municipal government, federal agencies, firefighters. We are here to say, we're here to look out for each other. And in a time of crisis, you will not be alone. We will come together to provide the kind of aid, the kind of comfort that these men in uniform, men and women in uniform provide, and the kind of help that our representative from the Small Business Association will be talking about shortly. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Bernie Sweeney. Excuse me, I have a poll. I am the State Director for the U.S. Small Business Administration here. And as was just previously said by the Governor and both Congresswoman DeLauro and Congressman Himes, we were called on here day one. And many of you that are in this room today were there when Congresswoman and myself, together with Bill Purcell, we sat and met with you. And I said to you, you're in shock. Recovery will be down the road. Well, I'm here today to tell you that the Governor and your Congress representatives, as well as the mayor of this city and your federal government, are here to begin the recovery. We will be setting up an office somewhere around Shelton where there will be a full-time SBA staff that will have intake facilities. There's also the ability to file your application now online, sba.gov/disaster, where you can begin the application process and get ready to head the teams. I want to thank everybody in the Shelton Fire Department. Chris, my congratulations to you for a fine job that you've done as a firefighter. You wear the uniform with pride, my friend. And thank you very much.
Loretti to the podium. The mayor and I have worked in our current capacities and way back when I was a mayor as well. So it's great to have you here, and please come up to the podium.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. There's been a lot of discussion about Shelton having two members of Congress represented. I want you to know, I know where the boundaries are. And, you know, I always thought that it was me. Was why we got two members of Congress, but you know, you really get an extra benefit when you have a lot of people pulling the boat in the same direction. I want to begin by thanking our government officials, the governor, the lieutenant governor, two members of Congress, the representative from the SBA. You know, we sure have had our share of fires in the last 25 years, particularly in the downtown area. And, you know, there is always a silver lining behind things. The thing that I look at is that remarkably, no loss of life and very, very little injury. You know, that's a telling story. It starts with our emergency service responders. Shelton has historically had some of the finest around. They continue in that fashion and represent their professions well in our city. So I thank you for your efforts. You know, as one door closes, another door opens. And I think that that's the case here. As we have witnessed in the course of the last 25 years, particularly in our downtown area, there'll be opportunity that comes out of this. You have seen government work, I think, at its finest, when all sectors of government collectively work for one end point, and that's the people. And that's really what's happened here. So I want to thank everyone who's involved. Our nonprofits, particularly the United Way, Team Incorporated, Spooner House, made a big difference in securing places for people to have a roof and heat over their heads and their bodies. The city will certainly do its part, and our state and federal officials, again, are here at the table at the appropriate time, making something positive out of something that could have been catastrophic. So let's keep doing what we need to do best, work on behalf of the residents of our community, our state, and our country. Thank you all.
I want to call on Chris. Do you want to say anything about the disaster relief efforts that so many of the firefighters and community members have participated in?
I just want to, on behalf of the members of Echo's Fire Company Number 1, I want to be the guy to say thank you from all of us. Firefighter Lantowski, the members of Company 1 have worked around the clock in organizing the relief fund, the Howat Fire Relief Fund at Webster Bank. We had so much clothes and so much food and so much furniture donated, gift cards. It was just overwhelming how much stuff we got. We have eight units of furniture down there waiting to be inventoried so we could distribute it amongst the residents that were displaced. We do have residents that are here. We have business owners that are here. They know that we are here for them. We have a sort of our own little food pantry that we set up. We had a local business donate in a little office space down on Center Street where it's full of clothes, it's full of food, and we have volunteers that showed up here the night of the day after the fire, some with food that never left. They stayed here and they're still working. It's been almost 3 weeks now, and they man the office. It's that type of community that comes together that's really, I really love to call this place Shelton, you know, my home. And again, we've had a number of fires this week, this month. I think there's 6 structure fires we had. We just got back from one this morning. We just had a house fire up the street here. Congresswoman DeLauro mentioned my name, and listen, I was at the right place at the right time. These guys from Tower 7, firefighter Lugo, who went into that floor, pulled the gentleman out. All my brothers and sisters that are here today, the firefighter community, they're the ones that deserve all the accolades. So please give all my brothers and sisters from Shelton Fire.
Deputy Chief was here, and I wanted to make sure whether he wanted to speak, and I think he's happy with the words that have been said by all that are up here. Let me add my voice. 6 fires in a relatively short period of time. Unfortunately, a loss of life as well. I want to add my voice in appreciation to all the firefighters and volunteers who perform so magnificently. I come from a family of firefighters, and I appreciate the sacrifices that not only the firefighters make, but their families make as well. The fear and worry that accompanies this profession, as well as other first responder professions, is really quite palatable. And so I add my voice to those that have already been sounded with respect to our gratitude that you all have this calling, that you've decided that this is one way that you can leave the world a better place for your having lived in it, and I appreciate it very much. With that, I'll take a few questions on point and attempt to answer from the press if there are any. I will remind you, we will have the center up and running this week, and we'll get, as soon as a location is made available, we will publicize that broadly as well. Any questions from the press?
Governor, does the SBA program, is that going to include any help negotiating with insurance companies and just, the other mechanics of getting your life back together after a fire?
The way that it works is if you do have insurance, make application. We work with every single insurance company in the country. We learned an awful lot from Katrina working with insurance companies. So even if you have insurance and the insurance pays and it's factored into the loan, it's either deducted or the insurance company makes a payment to the government rather than to the individual.
We also have within the insurance department, if anyone's having a department, we have an ombudsman there. You can go to the state website and find that information. We have intervened in any number of cases in the past, so certainly happy to do that. I neglected to announce one other thing with respect to small businesses. Small businesses that are affected who are interested in the Small Business Express program, a relatively new program by the state, will receive priority processing. So we like to get answers as quickly as possible on eligibility. Commissioner Smith and her staff will handle any of the businesses affected with respect to eligibility in an expedited way. Any other questions? Yep.
What are some of the factors?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just informed that the office will be up and running at Town Hall on Wednesday. So I just learned that. So we'll be up and running, and I appreciate you all making that available. So thank you very much. Go ahead.
What are some of the factors that are going to be entailed as to how much each loan will be?
There are any number of factors. For instance, ownership of structures, the amount of loss, the plan for recovery, all of that has to be processed, and as you might imagine, there are limitations, so it's not, this particular program is not open-ended. With respect to those businesses applying for Small Business Express participation, there are different criteria, which really has to do with the ability of the business to recover and have ongoing source of income. Good. Anybody else?
How soon will they see the money? How long is the whole process?
Bernie has said that if it's not the check's not in the mail, he'll take it out of his pocket. So, right?
That's absolutely right.
The small business, the administration has done a pretty good job in these kinds of instances. So there are some government agencies that are a lot slower than others, but I have to tell you, in the 3 years that Bernie and I have been working together here in Connecticut, their response has been tremendous. But it also relies on approvals in some cases in Washington, and sometimes they're a little slower in Washington. I know that the two congresspeople would find that hard to believe, but we'll try to expedite it to the greatest extent we can. Bernie?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to your question, upon as the governor said, eligibility, but also the documents that we need to have. We try to move as fast as possible. We work with the banks that do direct deposits on the checks. But also, too, I just wanted to add, the governor talked about the Small Business Loan Express program. There will be some counseling SCORE. We have a couple of our SCORE counselors here to help businesses to get the necessary documents and financial records together that will expedite the application. As well as we have a new SBDC center here in Connecticut, and the individual that works out of the Bridgeport office will be coming down here working. They will be working with the DECD that will have applications for the State Small Business Loan Express program, as well as some other programs that will help you to try to get back on your feet.
Will that be out of the same office?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Everybody happy? Listen, one final point. As an Irishman, I want to point out that I'm particularly impressed by the mascot on the equipment that you all have. And I want to thank the folks who operated the tower for the extraordinary work they did in this particular fire. So have a great day. God bless you all. Thank you.